Right then, Freaky Friday. For some people, not this guy anytime soon. So, I got some downtime here at the shop because DTR was up here poking around in my territory a while back and is rebuilding a customer's Samsung front load washing machine. And yeah, he's famous for this. And it's a two-man call. So not only do we got to remove the unit from the room it's in and either take it out into the kitchen or out into the garage to have enough space to do the work, but we also got to probably put in a new tub, new outer shell, bunch of stuff here, because DTR, the parts chucker, told this person that this old antiquated Samsung washing machine was worth rebuilding when they're pretty much not. So that's the first call of the day. Up in the Pickers, in a town called Sainer. Then I got a dryer that I was at last week. There was a household electrical problem. The dryer, it's an electric dryer, and it wasn't getting 240 volts. It was only getting 110. Stuff was wired wrong in the house. So the customer redid that. Now the complaint is the dryer won't even run. It just immediately blows the breaker. So I got to look at what could cause the dryer to cause the breaker to blow. The most likely culprit, because when I was there last time I tested all the thermostats, the most likely culprit is that the heating element in the dryer has warped. The coils that get cherry red have moved due to thermal expansion, and they're now touching the side of the housing, which is a direct short. It's most likely what's going on. I've got a Zephyr brand wine cooler today, under the counter wine cooler, that I got to put a evaporator fan assembly in, because right out of the crate, one of the mounting posts that holds that fan to the back wall broke. It's plastic. Broke. And the fan is vibrating, making a buzzing noise. And the other two are simple diagnostics. But since DTR is able to look at his route the morning of early, like I do, when he gets up around 5 or 6, he could make the determination, oh snap, I better go in early, because it's Friday, so I can get home at a decent time and start my weekend. But no, he rolls in 5 minutes to 8, punches in at 8. We have permission to punch in and punch out whenever we want. So as a result, I came in here, punched in at 8, knowing this, that he now has an hour drive just to get up to me. And then we have another 3/4 hour drive to get up to the job site. I punched in at 8, and I'm sitting here padding the time clock. Yep. There's nothing I can do on this particular two-man call. I can't go there ahead of him and start tearing the unit apart, taking the covers off, taking the front off, taking the back off. When he does one of these things, he does way more work than he needs to. It's ridiculous. He does not know the mantra, work smart, not hard. No. If the company wouldn't have provided him with power tools, like screw guns and power drills, he'd still be doing stuff by hand. Clown. So anyway, I gotta sit and wait for him. TikTok goes the clock. I'm all up to date on my safety training, my stuff like that. So I can't do any of that. Get that done. Yeah. So I do have to sign my performance review for here, but I'm a little apprehensive to look at it because several months ago I got in some trouble. There were some customer complaints, unjustified, unfounded, straight up ridiculous. And I got a talking to from JC and Bert. 3-way conference call. I wasn't told I was going to be written up because they know I have a perfect record. 10 years here. Perfect record. Yep. No traffic violations, like speeding tickets, things like that. 99% of the time I'm on time, not tardy. Very rarely do I call in sick, unless I'm literally in the chair and I can't move. I'm damn near a perfect employee, pulling miracles out of my ass every day of the week to solve problems. So on this particular cluster of customer complaints, they felt the need to call me and have a conference call and admonish little Kenny. And I wasn't told I was getting written up. I was told it would go in my file. I never had to sign anything. You know, usually when you get a write-up at a company, you got to sign something. That didn't happen. So I don't know. But as a result, that just happened a couple of months ago, and now the performance reviews have been released, as have raises. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little leery to look at all of that. Yeah. This morning, the drive into work was really foggy. I was creeping. I was doing like 35 miles. I'm gun shy now because of hitting that Bambi. Yeah, I'm pretty gun shy. So I had her at 35 on the cruise, and I was just creeping along. You know, I'll get over it, but it's still pretty fresh. On the way home last night, I take the same highway every day to and from. Goes right to my house. On the way home last night, when I got to the area where I tagged that little guy, I was getting a little upset because I didn't want to see him laying in the road. And somebody had dragged him off the road and thrown him in the ditch where he wasn't visible. Now, there's a lot of people. My area is open for ATV and UTV traffic. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it wasn't the county coming through. But there's a lot of ATVs and UTVs that are zipping around in my neck of the woods on the roads. And I'm wondering if somebody was just cruising along and saw that little guy laying in the middle of the road and just dragged it off and threw it in the woods. It was a fresh kill, you know. It wasn't like it was all bloated up with flies and ready to explode or anything. Sorry. But that was nice. I didn't have to look at it and feel bad. I mean, there's not even a spot on the pavement that's all messed up. You know what I mean? From a bleed out. Yeah, it was okay. So thank you, Yahweh, for that little, I don't know why it happened, why you had to have it happen, but, you know, speaking of Yahweh, sitting out on the porch this morning, I had another little overwhelming episode where I was overwhelmed with end of days, I guess that's how to put it, end of days difficulties and troubles. By that I mean things I have to deal with here in the immediate future that are going to be difficult, costly, and stressful. And for once, I'm not talking about the house that I seem to be obsessed with. I'm talking about more serious matters. My dad's in his 80s. I am, essentially, the only remaining immediate family. When he passes, I don't have the first clue what to do. He apparently has all of his ducks in a row, but because we talked about it several years ago, but his ducks being in a row is not normal person's ducks in a row. Another person has things arranged with a funeral home, a cemetery. Those individuals, that's what you pay them for. They take over and they make the burial process seamless. They're in charge. You just show up. Because the last thing you want to do during that time is have to orchestrate things, you know, set it up, plan it out. Boy, that stuff burns pretty good when it's not muggy. So he gave me a folder with his end time procedures outlined, and it's straight up weird. Yeah, he's being transported from wherever he is at the time it happens, which, now that he wants to be a gypsy and downsize out of the Florida house, who knows? Who knows what he's planning? But it's exciting times for him. The way I'm wired, the lake house is my forever home. That's where I will die. Anyway, it's not about me. So yeah, so that's a very confusing shit show waiting to happen. That worries the heck out of me. There's also the fact that, okay, he's in his 80s. He appears to be in good health, which is straight up amazing. But what happens if he's diagnosed with something and he ends up somewhere? Assisted living facility, something. How do I deal with that? What if he becomes not cognizant enough, which I'm worried about, to manage his own affairs, so to speak? Well, what a lot of children do is reverse roles. When they were children, parents took care of them. When they become cognizant adults, they take care of the parents. Is that my future? Dad comes up to the lake house and spends the rest of his days at the lake house. That'd be awesome for him. Talk about the epic environment. But I can't handle that. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have a clue. Yeah, I can hear y'all. Well, there's organizations for that that'll help you. Visiting nurses and, well, that all costs money. That all takes strategic planning and organizing and implementing. I don't have a clue how to do that shit. I'm stupid. I need a mommy. No, I need a secretary that's smart and that can figure all that out. So there's that. That hit me this morning like a horse fly in the forehead. Then there's my own situation. For some reason last night when I was sitting down in the lounge watching YouTube, videos were coming across the inbox pertaining to celebrities who have either committed crimes, and oh boy, there's some very popular names out there that did some wrong stuff. But the one that hit me the hardest was celebrities and their medical ailments. I don't give two shits about celebrities, right? Famous people. But, man, people had Parkinson's, people had lupus, people had Lyme's disease. There's people on this list that had Lyme's disease, and I'm thinking to myself, you live in Hollywood, probably never migrate off a city street. How did you get Lyme's disease? You get it from ticks, from wood ticks. What? A lot of people have Lyme's. Some in there with cancer. Some in there with muscular dystrophy, MS or whatever it is. Oh yeah. It was eye-opening. And then they post these people's ages. And guess what? They're all in their 40s and 50s and 60s. somewhere I saw something, and it registered, that for the most part of your life, you will be healthy, vibrant, everything will be going great. And right about time when it's time to retire, 65, is when your first serious medical incident will take place. And the way this person was saying is essentially that this was a proponent, this was a person that was preaching the attributes of and the benefits of retiring early if you can, so that you at least get 3-4 years of life trouble-free to enjoy retirement. Because the statistics show the first major medical catastrophe will happen right about the time you retire from working every day. And then from that point on, your retirement is survival, not enjoyment. Seeing if you can prolong your existence through medical treatments, medical visits, you know what I mean? The shitstorm hits around 65. Well, based on the celebrities I was seeing, man, these people were getting slammed in their 40s, 50s with serious shit. So that made me think about myself. Well, here's another case in point. Customer I had yesterday, I've worked with her before several times on stuff. I show up yesterday. I'd say a couple in their 50s, my age. Married. So we're talking about her issue with the dryer and stuff, and she has a little cosmetic problem that she wants fixed. And I said, well, is the husband handy? Because you can order the part yourself. She's out of warranty. You can order the part yourself, and if he's handy, you can take care of this yourself. And she started bawling. My husband died 3 weeks ago. I'm like, oh man. In my head, I'm like, Ken, I didn't know, right? But bad time to make that suggestion. Have the handy husband fix it. I don't have a handy husband anymore. He died 3 weeks ago. What happened? He died July 4th area time frame. He had a heart attack. And he was healthy. He ate healthy. He exercised. He went bike riding, walks. I met him. I've seen him. He was a healthy dude. He's always wearing running shoes, athletic type clothing. He was your quintessential healthy dude. Yeah. Heart attack. He had some heart disease, some arterial common. I don't remember what she called it, but it wasn't some weird thing that hits 1 out of a million people. It was a common, everyday, a lot of people have it, heart situation that he didn't know he had because he was healthy and he wasn't going into the doctor and they weren't looking for that. They didn't need to. He was healthy, so to speak. Turns out he wasn't. There was something lurking in the background that killed him. So that hit me like a horse fly in the forehead while riding a motorcycle with no helmet. I was like, I had a close scare recently, right? I seem to have solved that problem, but what's lurking in the background, waiting to nail me in the teeth right about the time I decide to retire and try to enjoy life, the remainder of life. That weighed heavy on my mind. Then there's a life partner situation. I can't seem to find a woman that I'm attracted to, that's cohesive, that wants to stick around. So, who's going to take care of me if and when the shit hits the fan, or I start to stumble and fail? Mia? She's a poster child for a walking medical nightmare. Yeah. So I started thinking about the previous owners of the house. How the wife, who was cognizant, ended up having to take care of the husband and literally sell the American dream house on the lake to move down to southern Wisconsin for treatment for this guy, to be closer for treatment because he has dementia. How her life, the rest of her days, has become misery. This is why you get the response out of so many people when their partner dies. Oh, he's better off. She's in a better place now. You know what that is? That's not recognition that, yeah, possibly that person went to heaven if they're playing on Team Jesus. No, that's a statement of relief. Whew. He died. No more hell for me. So, who's going to endure the hell for me when I'm pooping my drawers and I'm mumbling stuff in a different language that I don't even know and isn't an actual language? So that hit me like a horsefly in the forehead at 60 miles an hour. The house, money, finances. Man, it's sounding like I just drove into a cloud of horse flies on my motorcycle while not wearing a helmet. I got this lake house. I got paid today. It was a decent check. Immediately, I took $800 of that check and stuck it in savings for half of the mortgage payment for the start of the month of August. What happens when down the road, I don't want to launch into that, but finances hit me like a horsefly in the forehead. Not having a teammate that's contributing equally to lessen the worry, stress, and workload. Yep. That all hit me this morning while I'm sitting on my screen porch with a hot cup of coffee and a smoking pipe and looking out over the foggy, beautiful lake. So, I had a talk with Yahweh. I should say I talked to Yahweh. And I let him know that all of these demons of worry and stress are starting to creep in. I got faith that he has my 6. But there's all kinds of people on this planet that are white lighters, good people. Well, let's look at Mia, for example. She's a good person. She's getting pounded. Then you got people like the Diva Succubus Mongoose, who's straight up a demon. They're getting pounded as well. It happens to the best of us. So, these demons of worry, stress, trepidation, I gotta sit here for an hour. They creep in. They get their claws in. And they start messing with your head. So the thing I asked help with from Yahweh was clarity, wisdom, intelligence, to be able to deal with all these issues on my own. I mean, I don't mean on my own. He's got my six, but as a mortal who literally boots on the ground has to deal with it. Because I don't know if Mia's going to come into the picture again and if she's going to be cognizant enough to, or intelligent enough to handle these large situations that could or are going to happen in my immediate future. Yeah. It was a heavy morning on the porch. Yeah. Anyway, enough depression. DTR said he should be here in about an hour. I don't know if he's coming here, meeting me here at the store or at the job site. I should probably, I think I'll do that. I think I'll message him and find out what he wants to do as far as meet me at the job or meet me at the store here. Just bear with me a little bit here. 610 to 752. All right, so we'll see what he says to that. If he says he's going to the job site, I'll figure out a way to time it out so I can pull in the driveway when he gets there. I can't do any other calls first. I suppose I could, but I got some drive time too to get to this location. And the last call of the day, putting the fan assembly in that beverage center, it's scheduled for the afternoon, and sometimes there's always a reason for that. Person isn't home in the morning for whatever reason. You know what I mean? So I could call them and say, hey, can I swing in there early? And I could get it done now, but I might as well just wait. Yeah. Milk this out. Because Kenny's got a lake house he's got to pay for the next series of years. That's another thing I got to remember. I got to find a way to remember this. I refinanced the house on an adjustable rate mortgage. Yep. I have 7 years where my current interest rate is locked in at 5-something%. If I don't remember to refinance prior to those 7 years, my interest rate's going to revert to whatever the current interest rate is, and that could be bad. I just heard, when I was watching YouTube last night, I just heard Trump talking about he's keeping the pressure on the Fed to drop interest rates to stimulate Americans and the economy. If the interest rates are low on everything, mortgages, credit cards, unsecured loans, things like that, that puts more money in the pockets of people, and they're more inclined to go to Walmart and buy stupid stuff and stimulate the economy. So that's what he's pushing for. Yeah. So anyway, all right, enough rambling. I'm going to figure out what to do here, and we'll go from there. So I'll keep you posted.